And Marty, it's such a great point that we've seen disruption in the past, and you outlined some great strategies with how to deal with it. But in generative AI, it feels like the stakes are so much higher, right? A mistake in algorithmic trading is one thing, but a mistake in generative AI, some people believe, could destroy humanity. And it brings up sort of a topic that's been a source of real anxiety here in Silicon Valley over the last few weeks. And that's what happened, the drama at OpenAI. And was it this question of accelerating too fast or looking at the dangers? We still don't really have a good answer to that. So how do you sort of look at that with this technology? And do you think, again, that the stakes are so much higher that this requires a different kind of maybe more cautious development?
The stakes are high. We have had, and we continue to create other technologies where the stakes are really high. This is probably a great time to go out and see Oppenheimer, and was an amazing time for the release of Oppenheimer. Talk about high stakes technologies, right? And that one's been around for 70 some years. I grew up in New Mexico. My first job was at Los Alamos Labs. Robert Oppenheimer is my hero, and what a complicated set of decisions and what complicated people. Look at another one, genetic engineering. We had the Asilomar conference many decades ago where scientists voluntarily agreed to avoid editing the human germline, and with a couple of exceptions, I actually can only think of one startling exception, scientists have really stuck to that. So that seems to have worked for a really long time. And so we do have other technologies where the stakes are high. When it comes to AI, again, I'm going to be thinking back to analogies with algorithmic trading. There was a time when there was a great concern about the safety of algorithmic trading. And yes, you could say, well, it's just markets, but you could be really worried about a runaway algo. You could get yourself really scared about a runaway algo destroying the capital markets and all the consequences that would have. And it didn't really happen. And why didn't it happen? Well, because we had a few disasters. There's at least one company I can think of that in a few minutes blew through all of its capital, and that was the end of it on an algorithmic trading disaster. And there was a huge emphasis on how are we going to make the algo safe? And this is when people start making up ideas that might sound really interesting. Here's one that came up with regulators, which is let's require the Wall Street firms to write documents about the algos and then give the documents to another group, a control group or compliance group, which would review the doc and then assert that the algo was correct and wasn't going to damage anything, right? It's an idea that maybe sounds good on paper, but if you're a computer scientist, you'd immediately recognize it as a variant of the halting problem, and you'd know that it's not possible. So you wouldn't try to do it, let alone require people to do it. Proven to be an impossibility. What happened instead was, there's an exact application to AI, put a lot of attention at the interfaces between the algo and the marketplace. When an algo is just sitting inside a box thinking its thoughts, so what, right? What you really have to worry about, though, is as soon as you connect it to an exchange, and then it's going to be putting trades into the exchange. And some requirements, such as check at the beginning of every trade that both sides have the capital to fulfill the trade. It slows things down. Yes, that's the whole point, right? And so I would be looking to deliver AI safely and responsibly with these kinds of controls at the checkpoints to the real world, especially when you're connecting AI systems to other systems, AI systems to payment networks, stock exchanges, hospital systems, air traffic control. That's when you're going to care a lot about these real world interfaces.